Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Suzanne and Sarah YouTube channel. I'm Suzanne.
And I'm Sarah.
And today we are going to talk to you about how to build your investment team, your CPA, your legal counsel, your insurance agent, your escrow agent, and more. As I said, I'm Suzanne Moore. I'm a realtor here in beautiful sunny Bend, Oregon with Realty One Group Discovery and the founder of the Central Oregon Investor Network, which brings together investors not only from Central Oregon, but from all over the country to learn from one another, share resources, and build more passive income in our lives through real estate investments.
And I'm Sarah Willis. Suzanne Moore and I are a team here at Realty One Group Discovery, and we make these presentations and videos every week for you so you can get started in real estate investing or get to know the Bend area and the lifestyle here. QR code up on the screen, best way to get in touch with us. Hold your phone up now, screenshot that, and we'll see you on the next side.
So today we're going to talk about building your investment team because we know that it's so important to have everyone you need on your team with you before you need them. So who do you need in your corner?
First person we're going to talk about today is your CPA or your accountant, those people that manage that money and help you save money, right? So your CPA is going to be your numbers savvy person. They are going to help you with your taxes. They have all the information on hand to help guide you in terms of what your write-offs are going to be, where your compliance, your risk mitigation, things like depreciation, and they can help you plan ahead for saving this money. You've got the right person in your team. They're going to help you have peace of mind that you're going into these investments, making the right decisions from the beginning. And keep in mind, listen, not all accountants are created equally. You are going to want to interview people who are potentially investors themselves, and this will help them help you better.
So let's talk about what questions you want to ask to make sure your CPA and accountant is investor friendly.
So first question could be, what percentage of your clients have real estate investments? This is going to be a really good indicator if they are familiar with the specific write-offs that are going to be most beneficial to you.
Another question is, how many years have you been working with real estate investors? Maybe this is an aspect of their business that they're growing, or maybe they are pros for years. This will help you understand how much experience they have.
You might ask, have you ever owned or invested in real estate yourself? Again, if you are dealing with someone who answers yes to this question, you might ask them about their portfolio a little bit, where they've invested, what types of investments they have. And if this aligns with what your goals are or what your current portfolio looks like, then this might be someone that you want to hire.
Another great question to ask is, how do you stay familiar with the latest tax laws that affect real estate investors? And a question that you could ask in this current moment when we are publishing this video is, what's going on with bonus depreciation in 2024? Because there is some new news out there about bonus depreciation coming back to 100% this tax year. If they don't know that, you don't want them.
Of course, you're going to want to know things like, what is your fee structure? Is it hourly? Is it flat rate? Am I paying you a monthly fee? Is it just per filing? This is important information because if you're going to pick up the phone and be asking them questions and they're charging you $150, per phone call, that might not work for you. I know it wouldn't work for me.
Don't like being nickel and dimed by my CPA.
Nope.
And another one is just ask for references from their other investor clients. Talking to people that they already work with is a great way to understand how they operate, what those clients like and don't like, and decide if it's a fit for you. The next super important person you need on your team is an attorney, somebody who knows real estate law. So you want this person to understand and write contracts for you. You want them to help protect your assets. You want them in your corner for any disputes that arise so that they can help you resolve them. Compliance is huge here to make sure that you're following all the laws. And closing, it's great to have attorneys for closing depending on what state you're in and even what situation or kind of creative transaction you are undertaking. And those creative deals are really important here, especially to have an attorney. And then CYA, we all know what that means. It's super important to have an attorney there to just make sure everything's covered.
So some questions you might ask your real estate attorney or potential real estate attorney. Number one being, what are your areas of expertise within real estate law? So for example, are they most familiar with residential, commercial? Are they really good at writing contracts? Are they really familiar with easements and boundaries? Things like that.
The other one is, what are the most common legal challenges that real estate investors face, and how have you helped your clients successfully navigate those challenges? This will give you some specific examples, and you can ask questions if you have a particular consideration in mind.
One thing you might want to know is how many years of experience do they have in the categories that we're talking about here that we've already mentioned, like residential, commercial, people who are familiar with things like flips, fix and flips, landlord-tenant laws, especially here in Oregon or other states that the landlord-tenant laws are very strict. It's great to have someone on your team who can help guide you and give you the best advice for those specific areas.
Another question to ask is, what portion of your practice is dedicated to real estate law? Maybe they're more generalists and they maybe help out with landlord-tenant disputes. If you need someone to write up contracts for you, this is probably not the attorney for you.
All right, so other questions might be, what states are you licensed to practice in? Sometimes real estate investors oftentimes don't only invest in their own state. So this would be important, of course, if you were interested in out-of-state investing, and perhaps maybe if they're not licensed in the states that you are looking to invest in, they could be a good resource for referrals.
And finally, another question for your prospective real estate attorney is, do you have experience with 1031 exchanges, creative financing, subject to financing, seller financing, evictions, whatever your situation is? You want to make sure that they have specific experience in that area.
Moving on to more questions. Do you have contract templates that you can share, or will you be able to write me new contracts for each individual deal? If you have an attorney that's got contracts, standard boilerplate type contracts ready to go for the area of real estate that you are interested in, that's willing to share them with you as part of their fee, that could be really valuable.
And of course, like we were asking our CPA, we want some examples of other investors or transactions that the real estate attorney has assisted with. That gives you confidence that you are talking to somebody and have some specifics to make your decision on.
All right, next part of your team would be insurance. This is your risk mitigation, right? And most people are underinsured, and sometimes it's hard to find people that are very familiar with specific types of real estate investing, like fix and flips, for example. So insurance is your risk person. They are going to be able to create tailored protection specific to what you have going on. And they're going to be able to create coverage to match your use. So maybe it's only short-term coverage, long-term coverage, yeah. And they're going to be able to help you, guide you through claims and be your advocate. So this is someone that, you know, if you've got a couple different options that you will want to shop around for, make sure that all the quotes are aligned, someone's not pulling wool over your eyes. And there's also potential for partnership here as well.
As we've done with the other experts that we're bringing onto our team, we are going to ask what percentage of your clients are real estate investors. It's important to know for your insurance broker as well.
So another question you're going to want to ask is, can you provide quotes from multiple insurance companies? That way you can do side-by-side comparisons of coverage and costs. In some cases, there might only be one option for what you've got, but in the event that you've got a more generic situation, you're definitely going to want to do cost comparison.
Really important as an investor to ask your insurance broker, do you have experience with long-term rentals, short-term rentals, because they are different, mid-term rentals, and commercial property? You want to know that they have experience and coverage options for whatever real estate niche you are invested in.
Another question that you might want to ask, and this is one that a lot of us will overlook and get lazy and not do, is can you rewrite my policy each year to keep my costs down? If you stick with one insurance broker and one insurance policy year over year, you can see your costs go up. And that's obviously not what we're going for here. So you're going to want someone who's not lazy, who is willing to say yes when you ask them this question, that they're willing to relook at your policy on an annual basis.
Really important when you've got a situation that has arisen, you want to know how quickly that insurance broker can respond to your inquiries and concerns. Another thing that's really important is to understand if they have coverage for unique features like pools or theaters or any other potential liability factors on your property so that you can make sure you are covered if something happens with a tenant or a guest in your property.
Can you do an annual overview of my insurance so I can see where my costs are rising and falling? So again, it might cost more in an area where there's high fire risk, or if you're on the river and have a dock, and maybe your costs will go down. I don't know, for other things, just like the structure. So it's just good to see those line items and be able to keep track of that stuff, and someone on your team to watch that for you.
Next up, your escrow agent. This is something that not all investors know they need in their corner, and it's super important to have this person on your team because this is your closer. In some states, you need an attorney only. In other states, you might need both an escrow agent and an attorney, or just an escrow agent, because they help you with all the transaction management. They can help you write up contracts. They are there to make sure that communication flows easily between all parties. They can help you with creative deals and complex contracts, and they are there to protect your interests.
So a question you might want to ask your escrow agent is, what is your experience with double closing? So for example, if you find yourself in wholesaling properties where property is being sold from the seller to a wholesaler and a wholesaler to an end buyer, those can be a little bit more complicated, and not everybody has experience with those. So interviewing your escrow agent, seeing if they've done this before, is probably a good question to ask before you choose them.
And that's a great first question to ask, because then you don't need to ask the rest of the questions, which is, how many years experience do you have handling investor transactions, and what percentage of your business are investor deals?
So also, you might want to know, what's your experience with novation agreements? Now, this is a different type of contract that we see on investor deals. And again, if someone just kind of gives you a blank stare or some silence on the other end of the phone when you say that, that's probably a good indication that they haven't dealt with that before.
And same thing as asking about assignment contracts or wrap mortgages, sub-2 financing, all those things. Those things will help you weed out and make sure you are finding someone who is truly investor friendly.
So for the convenience factor, it's often good to know what sort of virtual signing options that you have available with an escrow agent. If you're buying out of state, again, a lot of investors don't live where they're buying their properties. You're going to want to be able to sign remotely.
Another question to ask is, can you help me put my property into an LLC after it closes? Sometimes as investors, we have to initially put a property in our own personal name, and then we want to very swiftly transfer it into an LLC after it closes because of financing reasons. And you would love to have an escrow agent that's going to help you do that pretty swiftly afterwards.
Mm-hmm. And then every escrow company has their own set of fees. These line items usually vary from company to company, but end up being about the same. Anyways, you still will want to know what's included in your fee for investor transactions and where you're spending money on them. So some other important teammates that are crucial to have on your team, of course, are your boots on the ground, your trusted real estate professionals who are investor friendly and speak the same language that you do. A couple other ones just off the top of my head would be home inspectors and contractors. So again, just depending on your focus, your investment focus, these are a couple other things that you definitely want to have going for you.
And the best part is, you don't have to find all these people yourselves. If you have those investment focused real estate agents on your team, they can help you find everybody else. So you really just have to find one person, in our case two, who can help you find the rest of your team. And that is the beauty of having an investor focused realtor. So as you may know, we have a lot of recommended partners. And if you would like to know who they are, you have our contact information, and we would be glad to share them with you when we work together. We also invest out of state.
Mm-hmm. That's something both of us do. If that's something you're interested in doing, definitely reach out. We have contacts all over the country from our networks. And again, we would love to connect you with the people that we know that we enjoy working with. Thank you again for watching, and please like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.